1. Han China, 206 BCE, 220 CE. The Han consolidated Qin unification by retaining central authority while softening legalist harshness with Confucian ethics in statecraft. Governance relied on a merit-leaning bureaucracy. Officials were selected through recommendations and examinations in Confucian classics, a precursor to the formal civil service exams of later dynasties. The state built granaries and used price stabilization purchases to buffer famine and inflation, showing early counter-cyclical policy. Zhang Qian's missions opened sustained links westward. Taxes and security along the Gansu corridor facilitated Silk Road exchange of silk, horses, glass, and ideas between East Asia, Central Asia, and the Mediterranean. Technological advances included cast iron tools, improved plows, seismographs, and paper, credited to Kailuan in 105 CE, building on earlier fibers, which lowered record-keeping costs and expanded literacy within the administration. A standardized script and law across commanderies, provinces, created cultural continuity, while state monopolies, e.g., salt and iron at times, funded frontier defense. The Han synthesis, central bureaucracy, shared curriculum, standardized writing, and long-distance trade corridors defined Chinese imperial governance and influenced Korea, Vietnam, and Japan through institutions and literary culture. 2. Achaemenid Persian Empire, c. 550 to 330 BCE. Cyrus II the Great unified the Iranian plateau and conquered Lydia, Babylon, and beyond to build the first great transcontinental empire from the Indus Valley to the Aegean. Its core innovation was administrative scale. The realm was divided into satrapies, provincial governorships, each led by a satrap, governor, and checked by royal inspectors, the king's eye, to limit corruption. A standardized tax system, state road network, the royal road from Susa to Sardis, and relay posts cut message times to days instead of weeks, enabling coordinated rule. The state authorized multiple local laws and religions, using Imperial Aramaic as a working language to lower transaction costs across ethnic groups. Gold derrick coinage and standardized weights eased long-distance trade, irrigation tunnels cannons, stabilized agriculture in arid zones by moving groundwater with minimal evaporation. Imperial legitimacy was expressed as protection of local cults rather than forced conversion, which reduced resistance and kept skilled populations in place. This model, provincial delegation under central audit, lingua franca for administration, and infrastructure-first integration, set a template later empires copied, including Hellenistic kingdoms and Rome's provincial system. 3. Roman Empire, 27 BC. For 76 CE in the West, the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire to 1453. Rome fused military logistics, municipal governance, and codified law to create durable influence across Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. Road networks, bridges, and ports enabled grain flows from Egypt and North Africa to urban markets like Rome and Constantinople, stabilizing population centers that became engines of culture and commerce. Roman citizenship expanded over time, notably the Edict of Caracalla in 212 CE, integrated provincial elites into imperial politics and tax systems. Legal traditions, ius civil, law for citizens, ius gentium, law for dealings with non-citizens, and later the Justinianic corpus juris civilis, underpin civil law systems today, shaping concepts like contracts, property, and legal personality. Urban planning standardized forums, baths, amphitheaters, aqueducts, and sewers, raising public health and shaping the European city's physical form. Latin became the base for Romance languages and administrative vocabulary across Europe. The Christian Church, legalized and then state-backed, used Roman urban networks to spread and later preserve literacy and law during the post-imperial centuries. Rome's combination of citizenship policy, municipal replication, and written law explains why its institutions outlived its Western political structure. For Maurya Empire, c. 322 to 185 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya, advised in tradition by the statecraft treatise later, known as the Arthashastra, built South Asia's first large territorial empire from Afghanistan to the Deccan. The administrative core consisted of provinces ruled by royal kin or trusted officials, with revenue extracted through land tax, customs at trade nodes, and state monopolies, e.g., mining, forests. Pataliputra, modern Patna, functioned as a planned capital with councils overseeing public works, trade, and security. Under Ashoka c. 268 to 232 BCE, the empire pivoted from expansion, after the destructive Kalinga War, to moral governance Dhamma. Rock and Pillar edicts in Prakrit and other languages announce policies on nonviolence, religious tolerance, animal welfare, and justice procedures. Their geographic spread doubled as an imperial communication system. State sponsorship of missions transmitted Buddhism to Sri Lanka and across trade routes towards Central and Southeast Asia, where it syncretized with local traditions. Road building with rest houses and wells integrated markets across monsoon and inland routes. The Mauryan blend of centralized revenue, public edicts, and trans-regional religious diplomacy set enduring patterns for South Asian statecraft and cross-Asian cultural exchange. 5. Umayyad and Abbasid Caliphates, 661 to 750 CE, 750 to 1258 CE. The Umayyad Caliphate expanded Islamic rule from the Iberian Peninsula to the Indus Valley, creating one of the largest contiguous empires in history. Arabic was established as the administrative language, replacing Greek, Persian, and other regional languages in government records. The introduction of a unified coinage facilitated trade across regions with diverse economies. The Caliphate's road networks, caravanserais, roadside inns, and naval routes connected Mediterranean, Indian Ocean, and Silk Road trade. The Abbasid Caliphate, which succeeded the Umayyads, moved the capital to Baghdad, transforming it into a center of science, philosophy, and commerce. The House of Wisdom attracted scholars from across the empire, translating and preserving Greek, Persian, and Indian works. Advances in algebra, astronomy, medicine, and navigation spread across Afro-Eurasia through scholars and merchants. The Caliphate's integration of religious authority with administrative systems, along with their cultural patronage, left a long-lasting influence on governance, science, and literature in the Islamic world and beyond. 6. Mongol Empire, 1206 to 1368 CE. Under Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Korean Peninsula to Eastern Europe. Its rapid expansion relied on highly mobile cavalry, composite bows, and disciplined military organization based on decimal units. Once territory was secured, the Mongols prioritized stability for trade and communication, establishing the AM system, a relay network with stations for fresh horses and secure messaging. The empire facilitated unprecedented cross-continental exchange during the Pax Mongolica, allowing goods, technologies, and ideas to move between East and West. Paper currency and passport-like documents called paisi were issued to authorize and protect travelers. While the Mongols were known for their military brutality and conquest, they also encouraged merit-based appointments, religious tolerance, and the transfer of skills and artisans across regions. Their integration of Eurasian trade networks set the stage for the later rise of global maritime trade in the 15th and 16th centuries. 7. Ottoman Empire, 1299 to 1922 CE. Originating in Anatolia under Osman I, the Ottoman Empire expanded to control Southeast Europe, Western Asia, and North Africa. The conquest of Constantinople in 1453 transformed the city, renamed Istanbul, into the empire's capital and a major trade hub. The Ottomans implemented the millet system, granting religious communities autonomy under their own laws and leaders while remaining under imperial oversight. The Devshirme system recruited Christian boys into state service, training them as soldiers, janissaries, or administrators, fostering a loyal and skilled elite. Ottoman control of key trade routes between Europe and Asia allowed them to influence global commerce until maritime routes bypassed the Middle East. Advances in architecture, exemplified by works of Mimar Sinan, and the codification of law under Suleiman the Magnificent blended Islamic and local traditions into a coherent imperial system. The Ottoman administrative model influenced successor states in the Middle East and the Balkans. 8. British Empire, 16th to 20th centuries. At its height, the British Empire was the largest in history, spanning all inhabited continents. Its power rested on maritime supremacy, industrial capacity, and network of colonies, dominions, and protectorates. The empire facilitated global trade through control of key naval choke points such as the Suez Canal, Gibraltar, and Singapore. English became a global lingua franca for trade, diplomacy, and science. British colonial administration introduced legal systems based on English common law, railways, telegraph networks, and standardized education in many territories. The empire's economic system integrated resource extraction from colonies with industrial production in Britain, shaping global commodity flows. Cultural and political legacies, including parliamentary governance, legal frameworks, and the spread of the English language, remain influential worldwide. Decolonization in the mid-20th century produced dozens of independent states, many retaining institutional structures rooted in British administration. 9. Russian Empire, 1721 to 1917. Formally established under Peter the Great, the Russian Empire expanded across Eurasia, encompassing a diverse range of climates, peoples, and resources. Central authority operated through a bureaucracy overseen by the Tsar, supported by a system of provincial governors. Military modernization and the creation of a navy allowed Russia to project power into the Baltic, Black Sea, and Pacific regions. The empire encouraged settlement of frontier territories through incentives, spreading Russian language and Orthodox Christianity. Infrastructure projects, such as the Trans-Siberian Railway, linked European Russia to the Pacific coast, facilitating troop movement, migration, and trade. The empire's territorial reach made it a key player in European diplomacy and conflicts, from the Napoleonic Wars to World War I. Its collapse in 1917 reshaped the political landscape, leading to the rise of the Soviet Union. 10. Qing Dynasty, 1644 to 1912. The Qing dynasty, established by the Manchu people, expanded China's borders to their greatest extent, incorporating Tibet, Xinjiang, Mongolia, and Taiwan. Qing governance blended Manchu and Han Chinese administrative traditions, maintaining separate military and civil bureaucracies to preserve Manchu identity. Agricultural expansion, population growth, and integration of new territories supported economic strength. The Canton system regulated foreign trade, concentrating it through Guangzhou under strict controls. The Qing also sponsored cultural projects, such as the compilation of the Siku Quanshu, the largest collection of Chinese literature at the time. However, resistance to industrialization and external pressure from Western powers contributed to decline in the 19th century. The dynasty's multi-ethnic governance model influenced later approaches to managing diversity in modern China. 11. Spanish Empire, 15th to 19th centuries. Beginning with the voyages of Christopher Columbus in 1492, the Spanish Empire established vast colonies in the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Wealth from silver mines in Potosi and Mexico fueled European trade and funded military campaigns. The encomienda and later repartimiento systems structured labor extraction from indigenous populations. Spanish governance introduced European legal codes, Catholic missions, and centralized colonial administration. The Manila Galleon trade connected Asia, the Americas, and Europe, integrating global markets for the first time on a sustained scale. Spanish as a language and Catholicism as a religion became entrenched in much of Latin America and the Philippines, enduring long after independence movements in the 19th century dismantled most of the empire. 12. Byzantine Empire, Eastern Roman Empire, 330 to 1453 CE. Centered on Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire preserved Roman law, administration, and urban culture for nearly 1,000 years after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The codification of Roman law under Emperor Justinian I, Corpus Juris Civilis, provided a foundation for later European legal systems. The empire's strategic location controlled trade between Europe and Asia, while its military used a combination of fortified cities, diplomacy, and mobile forces to manage threats. Orthodox Christianity became the state religion, influencing art, architecture, and political legitimacy. The empire's resilience lay in its ability to adapt Roman institutions to changing circumstances while maintaining strong central authority until its fall to the Ottomans in 1453.